Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my YouTube channel, which is Siboga TV. And today, I want to talk about what should Africa do or African nations do for them to gain recognition globally. Because as we speak, Africa is actually seen as a weak continent. Africa is actually seen as a dark continent by mostly the European countries. So, what should be or what should we Africans do so that we can gain that global recognition? We can have the strength to bargain, the strength to be in the table of the world. So that's actually what will be the topic of our discussion. And before we actually do that, I could request you kindly to take a minute or two and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And whenever you subscribe, always remember to give the video a like. Always share our videos to your friends. And if they are lovers of politics, then it's good to encourage them to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And lastly, whenever you subscribe, always remember to smash the bell button. Because once you smash the bell button, then YouTube can be in that position so that it can always send you a notification so that you can watch our content whenever we upload that content into YouTube. Now, let us go back to the discussion of the day. What should the African nations do for them to have a face, for them to have a recognition internationally or in the world space? Because Africa has actually been seen as a weak continent. Africa has been seen by the West as a dark place, as a dark continent, as a war-torn continent. And the Africans have been seen as people who are weak. So what should we do as African people for us to gain international recognition? One of the things that we have to do for us to gain that international recognition is that we have to unite Africa. We must have something like the United States of Africa, where we put all our nations together so that we can move forward as a United States of Africa. Because once we unify Africa, then we are going to have a bigger bargaining power so that we cannot look to be weak, so that we can have the strength to bargain. For example, if we have the African unity, it means that if we go to the table with the United States of America, then you will find that the United States of America must respect Africa because it will know that it is dealing with a very big bloc instead of dealing with the United States as individual nations, which are actually very weak. Because if United States is dealing maybe with Kenya, it sees Kenya as a small country. So the benefit which maybe Kenya will be getting from United States will not be of help. But if we negotiate as a United States of Africa, that means the gain will be enormous. The gain will be in such a way that it will give Africa respect. So that's one way we must put ourselves in the global economy by uniting Africa. Another thing which we must do is actually by having one army. By having one army, that means we are going to solve our problems as a continent. Let's say we have a fight in DRC, then we are capable to send that army to DRC Congo, and it will bring what we call peace. Because by actually having one army, it will be such a big army which will have the facility it needs for it to bring peace in Africa. Because currently, you will find that Africa is being interfered with. People come from outside that they want to bring peace in Africa, but they end up destroying African nations completely. See what is happening in Libya. The Western thought that they will remove Muammar Gaddafi, who actually was a champion of Pan-Africanism. They feared that this man meant a lot and he was going to unify Africa. And he was toppled from the government. And now Libya is in limbo. Libya is in war. And currently, the same people who toppled Gaddafi are actually sending arms to Africa. They're giving arms to the Libyans to destroy themselves. But for them, they are gaining economically. They are siphoning Libya oil. So for Africa to gain its world map, for it to be on the table of the world, then Africa must have one army. Another thing we must do is actually having one currency, such that if we negotiate with any European country, we are going to use our money to negotiate, to buy, to trade with that country. So that we may not be in that position that first we buy a dollar, then we use that dollar for us to trade with certain countries. So we must, as Africa, we must have one currency for us to be strong, for us to have that dignity in the global world. So that's another thing we must do. And for us to have the United States of Africa, there's one thing we have to do. We must fund it from our pockets. If you look at AU the way it is currently, you will find that 60% of its budget actually is being funded by the Western country. And if AU is funded by the Western country, then How do we get, or how do we receive our dignity? Because it is the West who are funding it. They are funding us. That means we are incapable. So for us to receive that respect we deserve, we must fund AU in totality. We must tell our friends that now you have to step aside for us to do our thing, for us to do our things. And that's when we will receive the dignity we deserve as Africans. But if we don't do that, if we allow the Western to fund the AU, to fund the African unity, then there is a problem. We could not, or we cannot receive that respect we need. I like what President William Samoei Ruto told the nation. He said that for we Africa to have what we call the strength to negotiate with the Western country, first we must strengthen AU. Second, we must fund it properly. So leaders like William Samoei Ruto are being encouraged. Leaders like the Burundi president must be encouraged. Leaders like the president of South Africa must be encouraged. Leaders like Mrema of South Africa must be encouraged, because those are leaders who can make Africa great, because they have independent mind as Africans. So my fellow viewers, how do you think we can make Africa great again? How can Africans be able to get the respect they deserve? Please drop your comment in the message section. And if this is your first time for you to pump into this YouTube channel, this is a YouTube channel where we dissect the local politics of Kenya, and also we deal with international politics, and also we champion Pan-Africanism. And that's why you must subscribe to this YouTube channel. And whenever you subscribe, always smash the bell button, share our videos, give them a like, and if possible, encourage your friends to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And with that, I say thank you. May you be blessed abundantly. Goodbye.